So when we first logged on, I was saying that you have an extensive background in brand packaging and design, and that is the brand packaging is obviously one of the first things that grabs you as a consumer, right, and grabs your attention, be it that you're in a store or you're scrolling through an Instagram feed or you're online. So the challenge, though, for a startup is always meeting the minimum quantities, and therefore, you're kind of limited to working with the generic packagings out there. So when we think about that, what are some of the smart ways, a brand entrepreneur, someone that wants to get started, could do if they are limited to just stock componentry?
Yeah, it's such a great question. So, we've just distilled the essence of our brand, right? And then your product, 100% of your customers are going to interact with your product and your packaging. So that's the entire distillation of your brand needs to be represented there. And now you're like, oh my God, there's so much I need to put onto this tiny, tiny package. So when we think about even the challenge of addressing stock packaging, now if we go all the way back to those guiding principles of color, shape, symbols, and words, shapes are really important there. And so if we are limited to stock packaging, well, that's now I've got one arm pinned behind my back. That's one tool maybe I can't use, But there, maybe even as I'm choosing my stock packaging, there are some things that we could consider in our choices because let's say that I want to, convey a brand that's very natural and sensual. Well, maybe I'm not going to choose the packaging that's in the rectangle shape that's got the hard square edges because, visually I might want to go for a more organic, soft, curvy, and that's, so that's where everything that you do can speak volumes, without saying a word. Then to your point of like, well, what do I do to customize this stock package to make it my own? That's where you really have to rely heavily on the color and the symbols and the imagery that you bring. Even the fonts that you use.
And the caps, maybe like the caps that you can use, the colors for the caps, the textures.
Absolutely. So every single decision that you're making at that level then needs to be all the more strategic so that every single touch point, at the end of the day, it should all add up to conveying something. I love to joke that if you have to say with words that your packaging is luxury, you're probably doing it wrong.
That's so true. Yes.